is there such a thing of setting your lineups too early? And the answer is yes. It depends on the sport, but for basketball specifically, you want to wait until as close to lock as possible. And even then, you're still going to miss some things. The later news comes out in the sport, the later you want to wait to build your lineups. I think there's nothing wrong with, if you don't have a ton of time, of doing a build early just to get an idea of where things are going and where who some of the top players look like, that sort of thing, so that when you're in there for your final build, you're not kind of just coming in blind. But for sports like basketball, you want to be as close to lock as possible. Football, they put out inactives pretty consistently about an hour and a half before kickoff, so you want to wait till that. But even there, that's less dangerous. There's usually not many surprises. You can exclude questionable players from your builds and probably not give up a ton. But that's one kind of where it's on the line a little bit. For baseball, lineups, it's not as regimented when they come out, but those usually come out far enough in advance where you don't need to wait till the last minute. But basically, all of this comes down to wait until all the information is confirmed to finalize everything. But there's no harm in getting in there early just to see where things are shaking out. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, really well said. I think another advantage to doing, I think if you're going to prioritize time to do lineups, I definitely try like an hour before lock or in that window. There will, if you play DFS a lot like I do, there's been like 3 or 4 times where I've had complete mistakes where I forgot to put in lineups or something, or forgot to do a swap and just had totally dead lineups. So there's no harm in doing like an early swap or getting some good lineups in early just to play it safe, just in case something terrible happens and you're not able to swap in time. Getting something in early is always a good idea, but you should also try to get a final run in like within an hour of lock at least, or with basketball like 15 minutes before lock. But yeah, with baseball and football, like an hour out, you should be fine.
And I'll try not to go on too much of a rant here, but the short of it is just do not do dummy lineups. Like when you're reserving your entries, if you want to do a single entry for that and just put it in 150 times, whatever, just get your lineups in there, that's fine. But immediately after you do that, do a quick build with an optimizer, with SaberSim, whatever, just something, so that if the internet goes out, if something happens with our site, with another site, whatever it may be, you're not completely screwed and running a train of whoever it is and leaving $20,000 in salary on the table. Like, get in some build early if you are reserving lineups, because that is probably the most costly thing you can do. And I think that might have just made Max remember some bad times